An outstanding example of that lives on at the well-preserved 1812 homestead in Willsboro. Visitors are welcome here, where they can see the pioneering spirit, craftsmanship, and charm of the era up close. Back then, drinking water came from a hand-dug well hauled up by hand in a wooden bucket. Milk came from your hand-milked cow, and clothing from hand-sheared sheep made into wool garments, and all of this took place here at the 1812 homestead.
We use it as an operational farm on a very small scale. You'll see that we have some sheep and some pigs outside. And we speak to the kids about how sheep would have been used for wool, and wool was a very important textile back in the 1800s, and people wore a lot of it because it was available.
Jack Swaim of Willsboro loved history. He purchased the farm in 1960 and restored it to what life was like back then in the early 1800s. Many area residents can trace family heritage back to those early days. My great-grandfather was an Essex County blacksmith and wheelwright. A wheelwright made wagon wheels. The blacksmith would take a long piece of iron rod, heat it, and then bend it around the wheel to give it stability. A farmer's wagon was his pickup truck of that time, and he needed it to roll every day. In 1812, a family was kept busy with work on the farm.
They definitely would have been getting up dawn or pre-dawn because there was a lot of chores that needed to be done. A lot of the male members of the household would go out and do the chores, take care of the animals, do a lot of the work out in the fields, whereas the females, the wives and the daughters and the sisters, would spend a lot of time at the hearth.
Which meant everyone went to bed early and tuckered out. Most children back then attended school to only about 4th grade.
Good afternoon, Master McCready.
Yes, good afternoon.
They were considered more valuable back on the farm. When they attended school, it was straight reading, writing, and arithmetic taught to the tune of a hickory stick. They believed that to spare the rod was to spoil the child. Most children disagreed.
Is school time for games?
No, sir.
No, it is not. You want to play a game? I have a game for you. Stand up. Come, follow me. Do you see this circle?
Yes.
Your nose and this circle should meet.
I'm not that tall.
You can bend down. You can reach it. Very good. Now stay there.
For how long?
Until I say otherwise. Until you've learned your lesson. And not waste your time in class. Please, I'd like you to practice your penmanship. Take the chalk you have there and write your name as legibly as you can in cursive, as I have written my name on the board. Your R is backwards. So is your K. Man, this is not a laughing matter. Come with me. It's time to teach you a lesson. Outside.
The schoolhouse was certainly interesting, and I think that they can see that they have it pretty good nowadays, where they go to school as compared to, an 1812 schoolhouse and how that would have been.
The live history at the 1812 homestead also shows the visitors how shingles for a roof were made one at a time.
We have quite a bit of work to do. You guys want to get started? So you're going to want to angle your hands like that. That way the blade's cutting in and not down.
Before electricity was invented, candles and oil lamps lit the way, as demonstrated in the candle maker's shop.
So it's really quick into the wax and let it sit in the cold water for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can dip it back into the wax. And by going back and forth from the wax to the cold water, you will gradually build up the thickness of your candle.
The staff of the 1812 homestead want their visitors to make contact with the past and see what life was like before our modern conveniences came into existence. Most visitors here get that message. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Jack LaDuke in Willsboro.